though he had a golden voice, he didn't want anyone to hear it. It wasn't until he received some positive encouragement from a classmate that he realized that singing was something that he not only had a talent for, but it would change his life in ways he could never imagine. Let's find out whatever happened to Mexican-American R&B singer-songwriter Frankie J. Francisco Javier Bautista Jr., professionally known as Frankie J., was born in Tijuana, Mexico on December 7, 1978. However, he was raised in San Diego, California, from the age of 2, after his uncle brought him and his siblings to the United States. He grew up listening to both traditional Latin music as well as American music. His first memory of where his passion for music began is when he was 5 years old, singing in front of the television to Michael Jackson songs. Other major influences range from Stevie Wonder to Brian McKnight, as well as Latin superstars Vicente Fernandez and Luis Miguel. While in high school, he began performing in talent shows and functions. His talent for writing was developed around the age of 8 or 9, writing poems in school. He even started winning writing contests. Frankie grew up a very shy child, and even though he loved music and to sing, he didn't want to do it in front of other people. By the age of 14, he finally got up the nerve to ask his older brother to introduce him to one of his friends that was also a teenager like him, but he was writing and recording his own music. The moment his brother's friend heard his voice, he knew he had to get it on tape. The next step was going to be performing in front of a live audience. Word must have gotten around at his school, since one of the advisors approached Frankie and said that he heard that he liked to sing and offered him the opportunity to do so during the lunch break. He decided to do it, and the reaction from his peers was so amazing, he knew right then and there that singing was his future. By 15, without his parents' permission, he signed his first record deal with Canadian independent label Ventura International Records. It was a 2-year learning experience of not making any money, but learning a lot about the business. Shortly after that, he signed another record deal with the now defunct Ola Recordings, which stood for Home of Latin Artists, founded by famed songwriter, musician, and producer Jelly Bean Benitez. He was performing as a freestyle artist under the stage name Frankie Boy, and his music ended up on some compilation albums, since the solo album he was working on got shelved. At the age of 18, Frankie took a leap of faith and left his family and his home state of California for Texas. He got a regular 9-to-5 job at a women's shoe store in Austin, and during his time off, put everything he had into his music. He started to get to know more people in the business as he made his way around the state performing in Austin, Dallas, and San Antonio. 2 years later, he auditioned and won a spot in the Mexican-American Kumbia group, the Kumbia Kings, and changed his name again to Cisco, since there was already someone else named Frankie in the group. The group was created by A.B. Quintanilla, brother of slain Tejano superstar Selena Quintanilla Perez. During this time, he also married and became a father. Things were going well until one day Frankie showed up late to a show and was unceremoniously fired from the group. Now unemployed, he figured it was as perfect a time as any to do what he always wanted to do, which was to go solo. Little did the world, or possibly even Frankie himself, know he was sitting on a hit that would change everything. He gave the song to Ed Ocañas, then program director for local Corpus Christi radio station KZFM, who would go on to become Frankie's manager for a short time, as well as Latin R&B singer Paula Dionda. The song caught fire and led to a lot of attention from record labels. Columbia Records hooked it up like a tow truck with his first solo record deal, and the new improved Frankie J was born. 2003 would be the start of great things to come for him and his well-manicured eyebrows, beginning with his debut album, What's a Man to Do, that dropped in May. The lead single, Don't Wanna Try, made it into the top 20 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart.
Don't wanna try no more. You keep insisting when you know love is out the door.
That summer, without skipping a beat, he released his first Spanish-language album, simply titled Frankie J. The first single off that album, which is the Spanish version of Don't Wanna Try, called Ya No Es Igual, did even better, securing a top 10 position on the world Latin charts. Frankie then collaborated on a track he wrote while Don't Wanna Try was gaining popularity on the radio. The song, featuring and also co-written by rapper Baby Bash, who he'd been good friends with for years, called Sugar Sugar, was supposed to be the album's second single, but his label's A&R had other ideas. The powers that be didn't like the way Frankie sounded on the track and wanted to choose another song as the follow-up. Frankie decided to pass the song on to Bash for his album that was about to be released in the next few months. The song surpassed both of his other singles, climbing all the way to number 7 on the Hot 100. And there was even more success to come. Frankie's follow-up album, titled The One, was released 2 years after his debut. The lead single, called Obsession, No Es Amor, featuring Baby Bash, claimed the number 3 spot on the Hot 100 chart, making it his most successful song to date. It should be highlighted that the song's success probably had a lot to do with the fact that it's a cover of the 2002 international hit called Obsesión by Dominican-American bachata group Aventura. 2 more singles were released that also made it into the top 40. One of which, again, probably got the major boost that it did because it was a cover of the number 1 smash, More Than Words by rock band Extreme. Another Spanish-language album titled Un Nuevo Día, or A New Day, dropped the next year, and not surprisingly, did much better on the Latin charts than the Hot 100. At this point, Frankie was tired, but he had a 3-album deal with Kumbia, and they wanted him back in the studio working on new material. His third English-language album, and his last with the label, titled Priceless, was released towards the end of the year. A couple of singles were released, but neither made it into the top 40. Over the next several years, he continued putting out non-album singles sporadically, and he also chose to move back home to San Diego, where he resides today. Frankie's next business move was a big one. He decided to go the independent route and start his own label called Soul Sick Music. He spoke to YouKnowIGotSoul.com in September 2020 about his experience being an independent artist, saying, "I feel more in charge with my projects and more at ease. It was definitely a different feeling going from major to independent. You have to do everything by yourself, so that's one thing that really hit me hard." After a 5-year album hiatus, he finally released his 4th, titled Courage. He digitally released several singles with accompanying music videos uploaded to YouTube. Around this time, he also got bitten by the acting bug and joined the cast of the Mundos television series RPM Miami in 2011. In the summer of 2012, he got the opportunity to be the opening act for the Jennifer Lopez-Enrique Iglesias North American tour. For his next Spanish-language effort, Frankie decided to sign with a major again and partnered with Universal Music Latino. By late 2012, he had released 2 singles in anticipation of his new album, titled Faith, Hope y Amor, or Faith, Hope, and Love, which dropped in May 2013. The album garnered him his first Grammy nomination for Best Latin Pop Album. Over the next 3 years, his consistency continued with the release of more English language and Spanish language non-album singles. There was word in 2016 that a new English language album was on the way and would be titled More Than the Music. However, the album, which would drop in the summer of 2017, would be titled 11. In October 2017, Frankie would collaborate again with longtime friend Baby Bash for a collaboration album titled Sangria, which is a traditional Spanish drink made with red wine, fruit juice, and spices. 2020 was another very productive year for Frankie. He released a Spanish-language album titled Canciones que Recuerdo, or Songs That I Remember, a compilation of nostalgic songs he grew up listening to. One of the tracks also features his teenage daughter. At this time, he was also in the process of finishing some songs for his next English-language project. In the same You Know I Got Soul interview, he said he hoped that album, an R&B effort titled Back to Us, would be ready to go by Christmas, or if not, then his next goal would be Valentine's Day 2021. Nothing was released on either date. However, fans did get a sweet treat in February when his single called With You, featuring founding member of 2000s boy band B2K, Raz B, and rapper Paul Wall, dropped. Hopefully, fans will get to experience Frankie J's new album very soon. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and comment. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you won't miss any future videos. See you next time!